What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room yet again. And this is the deal here. So, as you can see the title of the broadcast, this young lady here is deciding to tell us about some things that she decided to get into due to other, women around her giving her a certain type of information and things like that that she could use against other people. Now, as you clearly see in the title, it's titled, the way it is. And you also see on the screen of the way she titled her video on TikTok. So we're going to dive off into this. And this is very powerful. We need to listen to this and we need to check this out, especially if you believe in God and everything. So if you don't, then you don't. I'm not arguing that issue, you know. But being having a spiritual side and things like that, these this type of scenario does kind of tie into it. So let's go here now. Let's see what she has to say. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
Here's my story on why I do not play with witchcraft. So when I was about 22, 23 years old, my then best friend at the time, grandmother, used to do work. She wasn't your average grandma, with the moo moo. No, she was turned. She smoked weed. She drank. She hung out. She could dress. She was that type of grandma. But she did work. She would do things like she would put your name in the freezer when she wanted you to stop doing something. She didn't put it in a bag of water like I be hearing other people say. No, she put your name straight in the freezer, and whatever she focused on that she wanted you to stop doing, you would stop doing. She would also do things like the jar, but she didn't do like honey jars. She would do a simple jar, and she have you write their name down, and you put their name in a jar of water and hide it in the house, and the person would not go nowhere. She did stuff like that. And the crazy thing about it, we saw it work. Me and her granddaughter, my best friend at the time, we saw it work. Whatever she said, it worked. So around that time, we young, we had little boyfriends that was cutting up or whatever. So we call ourselves wanting to get our boyfriends in line. So she told us this simple one to write their name down. If we don't hear from them and we want to hear from them, write their name down, put it under the pillow, and sleep on it. And you would hear from them. And I promise you, I used to do it. And at the time, I wouldn't hear from my baby daddy for weeks. I would put his name, write his whole name down, sleep on it. The next morning before 9 a.m., he would call me. So all her stuff worked. But this is where it went wrong.
Okay, before she goes further, this is wild out here, people. This is wild. Now, um, I know a lot of people nowadays, what I'm saying, especially, the churches are not in impacting, and what I'm saying, everybody's spirituality is kind of all over the place and things like that. Some believe, some don't believe, some are in the middle, things like that. It's crazy out here. But yes, though, throughout the centuries, there's always been a certain level of spirituality that we as humans have engaged in, throughout the centuries. It's always been a part of our being as humans. And whether it be, you know, witchcraft or, you know, religion, as far as, believing in God or Buddha, Muhammad, whatever you believe in, things like that. Or if you don't believe it, I'm not arguing, like I said, I'm not arguing that point. It's the fact that, there are things that go on in this world that can't be explained unless you are inside that particular unless you're on the inside of the information. As we all know, definitely over here in America, New Orleans was once upon a time known as, the voodoo, one of the voodoo capitals of America, but almost the world. And then you have Haiti, things like that. So, these things have, it's no way that we've been hearing about these types of situations for thousands of years. And there are books and all types of things, and this stuff just is not, it doesn't have any type of bearing. But let's keep going. Let's see what she has to say about her situation and what she tried to do, and how did it go down?
It was this one spell that she had me do because at the time my twin's father was cutting up real bad. I was in love with him and I wanted him to stay home and stop cheating on me.
Mm-hmm.
She told me to write his name down and put it in a jar and put it in some water and hide it in the house and he wouldn't go nowhere. I'm like, how this gonna work? Because not only was my baby daddy unfaithful, just wilding, he young, we didn't even live together. But I was in love and my baby daddy was cheating and I wanted him to be with me. So I did what she told me to do. I wrote his name down, his whole name, put it in a jar of water, hid it in the house. Y'all, like a month and a half later, guess what happened? He gets arrested. They lock him up. He don't get no bond. It's a serious charge. And when they finally give him a bond, they let him go under the conditions of him being on house arrest. Y'all, the spell said he would never leave the house. The man was on house arrest and he got released to my house, my address. So y'all, once he gets released to my address, we have the best relationship ever. We getting along, we in love. He's never been this nice to me. I'm so freaking happy. Till one day, y'all, I'm out shopping with my sister and he at the house. Remember, he on house arrest. I get back from shopping with my sister, y'all. Why the jar sitting on my coffee table? And he just sitting there. Y'all, he found the jar. He said real calm, yo, what my name doing in that jar? I was like, I ain't know what to say. I was like, I don't know. He was like, hey, yo, get my name out that jar. I was like, throw it away. He said, I'm not touching that jar. Get my name out that jar.
Damn. So he found the jar from being on house arrest, and through whatever, I guess you say, mystical power, whatever, he ended up living with her out of all things, and he found the jar at her place because she hid it there, things like that. This is wild, okay, people. This is crazy. And so he was like, get it out, get my name out the jar. So hold on, because she's not explaining how the jar got on the table. Hold on. Let's go back just a second.
With my sister, and he at the house. Remember, he on house arrest. I get back from shopping with my sister, y'all. Why the jar sitting on my coffee table? And he just sitting there. Y'all, he found the jar.
Okay.
He said real calm, yo, what my name doing in that jar? I was like, I ain't know what to say. I was like, I don't know. He was like, hey, yo.
So he found the jar for, I don't know. I guess through some through whatever happened, he found the jar that she allegedly hid in the house and things like that. And man, wow. Ooh wee.
Get my name out that jar. I was like, throw it away. He said, I'm not touching that jar. Get my name out that jar.
So if he found the jar, he had to touch it enough to get it to the table. So at that point, she put it on him to get rid of the jar. But whatever she did, instructions that she was given to do, he couldn't go no further than that. And obviously, it threw him off. Listen, look, man. You can't play with people out here like that. You know what I'm saying? If you believe in any type of religion and stuff like that, what I'm saying, you're gonna have the spirits and all that stuff. If you do truly believe spirits are real, and things can get on you, stuff like that. And like I say, if you don't believe none of that, I'm not arguing those facts. I'm not trying to do none of that shit. If you don't, then you don't. I don't give a damn. All I'm saying is though, I'm going by what she's saying about her situation and what she pulled on this man.
Instantly, the spell broke. Instantly. My world got turned upside down. Do y'all hear me?
Mm.
As soon as the spell broke, somehow the conditions of his bond got to the point where he could leave and go certain places, and then he eventually got off house arrest. He left my house. He started back cheating double time to the part where he just moved and just wasn't, like, it was almost like he
Cheating. He wasn't yours, baby. He wasn't yours. If you had to do all that right there, if you had to do all of that to keep him, close to you or whatever it was you thought you was doing, taking advice from all those bats and stuff, like, if you had to do all, he never was yours, and you never was his. This is wild out here, man. Man, fellas, y'all gotta stop. Man, y'all gotta watch the type of women y'all deal with out here, bro. This is crazy, man. Y'all gotta be mindful. Man, y'all gotta be mindful, bro. And y'all be wondering why some of y'all cats out there be losing footing and stuff and shit be happening to you. Man, dude, y'all gotta be mindful, bro.
hated me. Y'all, that spell backfired so bad. I remember one night I went looking for him, and I hate to admit this, but I went looking for this man, and I remember I didn't have on no shoes, and it was in the middle of November. I went looking for him with no shoes on in the middle of November. I don't even know why I didn't have on no shoes. Y'all better stop playing with people's free will. To this day, me and that man don't get along. Like, it's a whole bunch of stuff that happened after that. I could talk for hours. But to this day, me and that man do not get along. Stop playing with people's free will. If they want to be with you, they want to be with you. Because when it comes back times three. When I tell y'all I lost everything, I lost financially, I lost mentally. I started smoking weed around that time. I wasn't even a weed smoker. I lost. And I'm still not with the nigga. Stop playing around with that stuff. You cannot force nobody to be with you.
Right. She said she lost, was walking around trying to find him in the middle of November, and she didn't say what state or city, whatever they live in. But obviously, November, regardless of where you at in the United States, you know what I'm saying, it's cold, unless you just live in some super tropical place. But it's, either way it goes. Man, wow. She said she was walking around in the middle of November trying to find him with no shoes on, in November. She said backfired on her. Obviously so. You was in such a tragic space to where you was walking around in November with no shoes on. This is crazy out here, fellas, man. I'm telling y'all, bro. Y'all gotta watch the type of women that y'all dealing with nowadays, man. It's just period, though. You never know what these women into, man. Women are like cats. You never know, what they really capable of until you know your cat. I'm just being honest. Until you know your cat, you never know what she really capable of. Now, you can get to know your cat. She will reveal what she's capable of, but you have to take the time to get to know her and all these other types of things. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it takes time to do that. But man, though, I'm telling you though, nah, this is wild right here, man. So yeah, it's shit. It's no more to really say behind this. This is crazy, but hey, fellas, man, watch yourself. Watch the type of women that you're dealing with. You never know what these women into behind the scenes, stuff like that. And man, this is a tragic situation. But obviously, she brought it on herself, listening to these other people and things like that were into all types of craziness and whatever else was going on. Woo wee! But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all if you're new to the channel. Please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say, that, my friends, is the bottom line.